turn my phone off. All right, and we are live. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Higher Ed Social Group video on getting started with 360 videos. I am super excited to have our guests on today and very excited for you to meet them. They're doing some amazing things on their campus. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Graham and Elizabeth from Valdosta State University, and they're going to talk to you about how they started with 360 video on their campus and all the cool things that they're doing with it today.
Hi guys, I'm Elizabeth.
Hey guys, I'm Graham.
And as she said, we are from Valdosta State University, and we just wanted to share with you guys what it is we're doing. And introduce ourselves more effectively. So if you'll give us 1 second, we will do a screen share and you guys can see what we're doing. So actually, okay. Okay, the first thing, oh no, that's not right.
That is awesome. You're in perpetuity. And Inception is starting to happen. That is amazing.
Forgive us, guys. We'll try something else.
While we're getting started with that, for all of our viewers on YouTube, there is a comment section below. So if you think of any questions while we're doing this presentation, post them up below. We'll take questions at the end. And yeah.
Okay, so the first thing we want to show you is one of the videos we did for a campaign. So this is our Paint the Town. So that was one of our ad campaigns.
All right, so some of our ad campaigns, which we call Valdosta Red, which is all about bringing it into our campaigns. Really happening. Next thing we want to show you guys is we put together after our graduation and commencement ceremonies last year. Kind of happened off graduation.
I think your sound is a little wonky. Is it cutting out on your side?
Yeah.
A little echoey? Okay. Let's see. We can fix that on our side. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We will get the sound fixed ASAP here. Okay. I think we're good. Let's try it now.
Here is our commencement video.
Away. It's why I mentioned that I will do with you always. Teacher, the difference of going above and beyond what we see the world new way. And it is a common memory that will have to stay hopefully for the rest of life. These give me more than ever both lessons and experience. I know where I go, I will always be part of the Blazer Nation.
As you embark on this exciting journey, just remember, stay humble, be grateful, and most importantly, find your purpose and pursue it with passion. Congratulations, good luck, Godspeed.
That was awesome. How long did it take you guys to film that?
That was all kind of put together from a really long, like 13-hour-a-day shoot.
Gotcha.
We were basically we had multiple convocation ceremonies throughout the day, and then the whole day ended with a large commencement ceremony, which you saw with the fireworks and all of that stuff. So it was fun, tiring but fun.
And one of the best things about that commencement was because it was our first fireworks presentation, we were able to use our 360 camera, which we will show you that video in a little bit, to capture that and capture the whole experience, so it really feels like you're there with the graduates.
Right. First, though, we wanted to make a proper introduction and talk about our team here at Valdosta State. And so, again, I'm Graham Wynn. I'm the marketing videographer here, so I help a lot with the commercials and the social media content, all the stuff on our Facebook, and I'll let Beth introduce herself.
I'm not sure why we can't share our screen and show you our faces at the same time, but all right. And I'm Elizabeth Tate. I do mostly the video broadcasting for the school. Here's our information in case you ever do want to get in contact with us, so you can, ask us any questions along those lines.
Right, and so we basically fall under creative services here at our university, and so that here at VSU that involves print services, web design, graphic design, print design, everything, our video stuff, our social media, all falls under our creative services. So in our unit we have a content manager, and she creates all of our content and writes for us. And we also employ a lot of student assistants and graduate assistants that help us with a lot of the stuff as well. And so not only do we pay them per hour, but they also get really, really good hands-on experience to basically help their careers in the future and after they graduate. So it's a cool opportunity for us and for them. And so I wanted to get into some of the gear that you see behind us here, some of the gear that we use for the videos that you just saw. And so over here on the left, if you can see, is kind of one of our main powerhouse cameras. It's the Canon C100 Mark II.
I think you guys are still sharing screen. Oh, there we go. Nope. Still sharing screen there for you guys.
Oh.
Okay.
There we are.
Okay, here we go. So over here on my left, your right, is the Canon C100 Mark II. That's kind of our powerhouse. It's a little bit more of a production camera instead of maybe a cinema camera. So it's Canon mount, uses all Canon lenses, but it also has the benefit of having professional XLR, so professional audio capabilities. You can plug monitors straight into it. So it's much better than like a Canon DSLR, which is what most people are kind of using now. It's the cheaper option. Whereas Canon DSLRs don't necessarily give you the opportunity to have professional inputs. So to have XLR inputs, to have SDI inputs so you can go live, things like that. This camera basically allows us to do that while still getting that really nice DSLR look that people like, being able to use those Canon lenses and things like that. Over here behind me is my favorite camera. It's the Sony a7S II. And so this is what we've really been able to use to get that cinematic look in some of our football footage that we showed you earlier. This camera is incredible. It's super tiny, super light. It's mirrorless, which basically means that DSLRs have a built-in mirror in it. It does not. which basically allows it to be a little faster, a little more high quality. This camera shoots in 4K, which we've been shooting a lot of our recent features in. Great camera. Definitely higher priced than a common Canon DSLR, but well worth it if you have the budget. And then so the final big piece is the Theta S, which is this right here. So this is the 360 camera that we want to talk to you guys a little bit about. So we've gotten to use it in a variety of different situations. We've hung it from a drone. We've walked through large crowds with it. We've had it on tripods and done time lapses. So it's a pretty cool piece of equipment. And so we just want to talk to you a little bit about why even do 360 video at all.
So why are we filming in 360? Well, we film in 360 because it gives viewers individual experiences. One of the biggest ad campaigns that we try and run is, we want students when they come to Valdosta to know that they're part of a community, but they're also individuals. They get to have their own experiences and they can do pretty much whatever it is they want. We offer a wide variety of experiences, essentially. And so we really went with a 360 route because we wanted people to be able to see everything for themselves, to really look at what they wanted to look at.
Right. And beyond that, 360 video is super trendy right now. It's definitely got that wow factor. And surprisingly, it's not all that expensive. I think right now the price in the Theta S was right at maybe $300 with our institutional discount, maybe a little less. We got this from B&H Photo. And so the price point is really great. The wow factor is there. The integration on Facebook and YouTube is there. You can use it straight on your phone. So it's super cool. And a lot of companies have been using it. You'll see a lot of like movie trailers for horror movies have been using it. All sorts of stuff has been using it. They did a lot at the Olympics. So it's definitely a thing, and it's definitely here. It's happening right now. So, and 360 video, like Beth said, is super cool because it's an individualized experience, and meaning that each person that watches it can look a different place and see a different thing. So for example, we did some 360 video in one of our art galleries here on campus and set it up on a tripod and let it run as people were walking through the gallery. And basically that allows people to watch it, on Facebook or YouTube and check out different pieces of art and zoom in on different things that are happening. And basically feel like they're there and they're part of the experience. And beyond that, it gives people a reason to rewatch a video. So you're not just watching it once and seeing that one view one time. You can watch it multiple times and see something new every time. So it's multiple experiences in one piece of content, which is super cool.
That is awesome. I don't think any people even think about that you're going to get rewatches based on,
absolutely.
It's like a choose your own adventure. It's a different story every time. What am I going to check out? That is awesome.
Right. And to tack onto that, you have to provide those experiences when you're shooting too. I mean, you have to account for the fact that they can see in all directions. Okay. So, it's not something where you can just sit in front of somebody in a white room and have somebody talking, because you're wasting all the space that is now behind you. So when you shoot in 360, you really have to be, very spatially aware that there is something to look at on all sides. So you have to provide for that. And it takes a little bit more thought when you're going in to set up your shot, but it's well worth it.
Awesome. And you can find all of these videos on our YouTube account. So if you ever do want to go back and see it again, we have it all there.
Awesome. We'll put a link as well on the video so that way everybody can go and check out that channel as well.
Okay. So the next thing we want to talk about is why we went with the Theta S. We chose it for very specific reasons. Here are some of the best things about it. It comes in high resolution. You can shoot in full HD video. There is also a really cool feature where you can live view. Essentially, you can do what we're doing now, but instead of having just one camera facing you, you can see in 160 degrees. With the HD streaming, and it comes with a pretty substantial amount of memory. Now, you can shoot for 25 minutes continuously. We haven't actually tried that yet. We have not tried to do a full 25-minute shoot, but we found that when we do get to use it and film, it hasn't failed us in memory or dying up from battery or anything along those lines. And so basically we went Theta because it is cost effective. We really liked the look and the feel of the video. The video we just showed you in our art gallery was taken with a Theta. And we really liked the quality that it gives us for such a new technology. And the Theta is very easy to understand. You do not have to be a media major or understand every in and outs of a camera to be able to use the Theta. It's very basic, straightforward, and very easy to use.
That's awesome.
Right, so the entire camera.
Yeah, we'll go back to us.
The camera. Here we go. All right, so if you look at the camera itself, super tiny, they could definitely fit in your pocket, but if you'll notice, there's no screen on it. In fact, there's only one button on the entire thing, essentially. So the entire camera is basically run from a mobile app, which is free to use. So you run the thing from the app, and you can live view what you're seeing in 360, which is super cool. And so you have the ability to do photo or video, very high resolution photos. The video is 1080p, so again, full HD. It also records audio internally, so it's got its own microphone. And so once you shoot a video or a photo, it will automatically send that video or photo to your phone. So now through wirelessly, you will now have that file on your phone. So essentially, you can really control this whole thing and post content without ever having to use a computer at all. So you can snap a photo on here, take it to your phone. They have its own editing app where you can edit that photo in 360 on your phone, and then post it straight to a site that has integration for 360, such as Facebook or YouTube. So it's super fast, super simple, and it's nice for us because when we're at an event out in the field, we can control the whole thing, shoot it, post it, everything from the field instead of having to come back to the studio. So it's super great, super well integrated, and really easy to use.
That's awesome.
So basically, some of the projects that we get to use the 360 for, it covers a variety of different things. As we showed you with our art gallery, the one we were showing you is actually the senior exposition that the art students here on campus have every end of semester, so fall and spring. Not so much for summertime. They get to be shown in the fall one. But we get to use it to showcase our students. We can also use it to showcase different things like where our students will be living. We have a whole series on our dorms to showcase the different types of halls and living situations you get to have.
Right, so one of the first people to contact us was housing when they figured out that we had a 360 camera. And so people really want to see what the dorms look like. And so 360 photos of a sort have been around for a while in like real estate photography and things like that. And that was nothing more than, you know, a software that would basically stitch a panoramic picture together. So it was kind of a crude photo, but now we can do 360 video of a dorm and actually show people walking into that dorm, show people interacting around the space, you know, opening the fridge, getting a drink out, jumping in the bag, all that kind of stuff. So we can show a dorm being lived in 360. And so that's super helpful for students that are looking into housing and what their options are. Another thing that we've done is worked with our student union who has rental spaces. So they have conference rooms that they rent out. They have large ballrooms that they rent out for different events. And so we basically use the same kind of thing. So we've done 360 videos within those spaces to show how, you know, different organizations and different groups have used those spaces. So when you go to rent, you can kind of, you know, see how large the space is, where tables can go, all that kind of stuff. So it's super helpful if you need to show different spaces on your campus. Like I mentioned before, we've tethered it to our drone and flew it over our stadium, which we have a picture in here somewhere we can show you guys, but just super cool. This year, we're actually planning on using it for a haunted trail. So every year, our outdoor activities group puts together a haunted trail on campus. And so we're going to try to do a walkthrough with a 360 through our haunted trail and kind of tease the whole thing and try to get more people out there. So there's just, it really is limitless what you can do with it. And it just takes a little more thought to kind of figure out how you're going to do some of the things, like tethering it to a drone. It's kind of uncharted territory, but super fun. And like I said, it's definitely got that wow factor, but it's all about creating content with it that people want to see, just like anything else.
I imagine that parents really like it.
Oh,
So
parents
actually getting to
love it.
see what students are doing. They feel like they're there. It's kind of that immersive
Absolutely.
activity for them.
Absolutely. We're also working on a way that we can use a 360 for campus tours, especially the live view function. So Fridays are kind of our big day for admissions to do tours here on campus. And we'd love to be able to set up a way where you can do it remotely. So if you're in Atlanta or you're in another state, you could say, hey, I can tune in at this time on Fridays and watch a live tour in 360 of their campus. So that's something we'll work on right now. Obviously, there's more complications because there is so much movement.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something we're definitely working on. It's something that can be done with a 360 camera. So a lot of cool opportunities.
That would be awesome. I mean, even if it was just shooting one for
Right.
maybe students that can't come to campus or international students or
Right.
they're just far away, that would be an amazing opportunity that I haven't seen any other universities do.
Right.
It gives them a little taste of Valdosta without necessarily have to be at Valdosta.
Right.
That's
We're
awesome.
going to go ahead and show you guys some of those pictures we were talking about. Here is the one we attached to the drone and we sent it up in the air.
Yeah, so what you're seeing right now is a photo that was basically stitched together using the Theta's app. And so what this does is kind of simulates the 360. So if you're not using a platform that integrates 360, say you're using Instagram, you can turn the 360 photo into what they call a tiny planet. And that's what this is. It's kind of a visualization of the whole 360 photo. And so they're kind of cool and fun, and we like to do them around different parts of campus, and they usually get pretty good likes and comments and stuff like that. People seem to like them. So it's super cool to kind of go and snap a photo of like one of your iconic buildings on campus and show it off in this way. It's a lot of fun. So this is the one that we tethered to the drone and flew it over our stadium. Here's some at different events. Again, this is an unstitched photo on the right of the art gallery. So this is what it looks like before you wrap it around the kind of invisible globe that makes it a 360 photo.
And down here is a handheld one. Basically, we were holding the camera and we took the picture. We didn't really set it up on a tripod or attach it to a drone or anything like that. It gives you, even if you are holding it, you still get a pretty good view with the 360, especially with the Theta. So it gives you a lot of different options to create content with it. And
That's
it gives
awesome.
different things to experience.
Right.
So another good question is, while you can do a bunch of different editing on the apps itself, Theta provides on their website 3 different downloads. You have one, which is a basic app. You have your semi-editing and then editing, as what I think they call it online. And each provides different, experiences and like things you can do. But you can also take that and you can edit it in different ways. We found that you can use a bunch of different programs. As soon as our screen sharing will work again. There we go. So some of the programs we use to edit the 360 is Premiere Pro, After Effects, which are right here. And then the bottom 3 are the things you're gonna need if you wanna take your footage and put it on YouTube or Instagram or something along those. So the first is your Rico Theta basic app. In a second, I'll show you what it looks like when you take your footage straight out of the camera and put it on your computer. And what this does is it takes your footage and it makes it so you get to see like that picture we showed you of the art studio. It flattens it out so you can go in and edit it. Then you're going to need a spherical metadata injector, which sounds really fancy, but really all it's doing is it's giving it just a little bit of data. So when you upload it, Google can take it and then wrap it so it is that 360 view that you'll see in YouTube. And then the third is a very optional. We're still kind of testing it, so we are not completely sure if we like it or not, but it's an open broadcaster software. What do is you take it, when you want to broadcast from the Theta camera, you would need this because it takes your image and it wraps it for you. So then if you wanted to do something like Google Hangout, or if you wanted to live on YouTube, you would go from your open broadcaster software and go into YouTube, and that way it wraps it for you. So anyone watching you on YouTube can go and use your 360 function.
Neat.
Mm-hmm. The
art gallery with the titles built in.
Yeah. So one of the things we did, we'll go back to our art gallery video. is with our editing, with the editing we were talking about, you can take it and you can put things like titles on top, like right here, the Art 2016 Senior Gallery. So on the app, you can't do that. But if you take it into things like Adobe Premiere or After Effects, this was done in After Effects, you can go in and you can input your titles all around the video. So no matter where someone looks, they still get the same experience with the titles. And you can do other things like this is slightly color corrected just to give it a better view. But you can go in and plug in things along those nature. So give me 1 second and I will pull up a video for you so you can see the comparison between a video that has been, converted to be edited and a video straight from the camera.
This is so cool. Like just absolutely like mind blowing with all the ideas that you could use this for. Like I'm imagining almost video game style where you could have, deeper in your video, something that pops up and ways to level up or, catch things or
right.
This is so cool.
Okay. So I'm just going to share with you guys our entire screen so it's easier to do this. So the first thing I want to show you is this is the video. This is what it looks like when it's straight out of the camera. As you can see on our camera, I'm not sure actually if you can see it, if you can see us still, but the camera has two lenses, one on the front and one on the back. So essentially what you're seeing here is the camera on the front and the camera on the back. This event that we were recording is called The Happening, which is a really big school-wide event where people can come out and interact with others in the community. So it's really fun and you get a lot of students to turn out. So what we wanted to do is take it and walk around and show basically what happens. But the camera, this is how it records it. This is how you're going to get it out of the camera if you don't go through an app and you just plug it straight into your computer. You get these two globes essentially. So what you want to do is you want to take that app, the Rico Theta basic app, you'll plug it in and it converts to something along this. So it takes those two images and it stitches them together so you have one long image. And it allows for you to take that into a different editing program and then put on top of it whatever you wanted to happen.
Okay.
Right. So at that point you could add titles, you could do color correction, all sorts of stuff, add special effects, whatever you want to do with it. You could do a voiceover over it, just like it's any other video. So from there, you export it and run it through that metadata injector, that second step. And so basically that attaches a line of code to it that allows YouTube to say, oh, hey, this is a 360 video. We need to wrap this in a globe, or YouTube or Facebook or whatever the operation is.
Okay.
So we wanted to give you guys one last little thing just to show you how it is we do it. When we generally use the 360 video, we normally use it in our After Effects. And what we have is just a basic, title program that we get to use to help us create titles. So what I've done is I've taken that footage that we've already gone through and we've flattened it out with the basic app. And then you can put a title on top of it like this. Now, if we were to take this, export it, and just upload it to YouTube following the steps, this title right here would only be one title, and it would be very large across the entire video. So generally what you want to do is if you want to do that three different title thing like we had in the last video, you would take this and you would put one here in the middle, and one here on the other side. Now you do have to think when you're editing, it's almost a challenge to think of it this way, but you have to remember that this video is technically a circle. So when you do this, you need to keep accurate space on both of the edges. So when you think about it, it comes back together and wraps around. And unfortunately, the title we chose, it kind of comes and appears. So if I move it around too much, it'll disappear on us because of the mask layers we have, like that. But you're going to put one here, and you'd want to shrink it down just a little bit. And of course, when you do this, you want to make all of the adjustments you want to make to it. But you'd have one here, and then you'd have one more here. and then a final one here. What I've found is in After Effects, and of course, this is not the computer we actually edit our videos on. I've created a template, and I can upload this template for you guys if you ever want it in a Dropbox. But I've gone through and I've made measurements just for myself to know where the circle begins and ends and all that jazz.
That's awesome. That would be so helpful for someone, especially your first couple of videos, to make sure you're not, you know, putting stuff backwards and.
Yeah.
Right.
And I will say the only reason I even made this template is because the first time I uploaded, I found that two of my graphics were on top of each other, and I was like, oh, all right, this is a circle, not not a straight video.
Things you have to think about with those sort. So you mentioned, okay, so while if anybody has any comments or questions, post them up in the YouTube comment section below. Do feel free to do that. We will have links for where you can buy all of this, and links to VSU's channel, so you can see all of the content that they're creating, and all of that awesomeness. How did you guys, what was your research process like before you thought about the Theta and, you know, really went with that camera? What was were you considering other ones? Did you have like kind of a long lead time to find that one? What was that process like?
Right. So as we were looking into 360, it bounced around for a while as to whether we even wanted to get into 360. You know, was the technology there yet? Was the integration there yet? And after looking at a lot of what other marketing companies were doing, we saw other campaigns, like I talked to you about. You know, a lot of movies are using them for trailers and stuff like that. It seemed like that's the direction that things were going, at least the 360 was happening, and it was going to be a real thing and a big thing. So we started to look into it and look at the different cameras that were available. And Ricoh, the brand that makes the Theta S, seemed to be kind of one of the leaders in the market, at least on the kind of prosumer side. And so this model specifically is definitely in that what they call prosumer level. So it gives you some pro options as far as, you know, setting exposure and doing settings, and you full HD and audio. So this one in particular, the Theta S, is what we ended up falling on. They do have lower models of the Theta. I think they're just called Theta, and they come in different colors. Those are the more kind of consumer level ones, not as many options. Quality is not quite as good. So really, we came to the Ricoh Theta S because it seemed to be the leader in the market at the time, and this was last semester, so a few months ago. So it's still there. It's, like I said, it's right at about $300 as far as price, which is a little on the higher side of what you're looking at right now. So we've got a list of some other ones here and it looks like the price range goes anywhere from 200, you know, up to 300, 400 for the kind of the prosumer level cameras. Now, obviously, there's very, very expensive, you know, full professional rigs and stuff like that. We didn't really find that necessary for our use, but great camera, great for the price. And yeah, that's one we ended up settling on. Like I said, we got it from B&H Photo, which got us a pretty decent university discount.
Okay. Does it come in like a case or something like that?
Yeah, it comes in this little tiny, just kind of fabric sleeve.
Okay.
It's super minimal. I mean, the box that comes with it is basically the camera and the cables that's needed for it. I don't know that it even came with a manual, so it's kind of all online type thing, but super cool. Like I said, super intuitive. I mean, the learning curve on it was, you know, no more than an hour. I mean, as soon as you hook it up to the app, you can pretty much figure out how to use it.
That's awesome. Have your students had good luck with it? Are they using it for creating content?
They haven't created any content that we've put out, you know, as an advertisement, but we do every Friday we have a meeting where they basically come in, we talk about upcoming events, and then we allow them to come into the studio and just use our stuff, really get to learn and experience the things that they're going to find out there in the real world. So we have had a lesson where they got to go and use the Theta, and it was just, you know, us in the studio, but they really got to come in and use it and then do some editing with the footage just to, you know, see what it takes to create that circular view. Right.
And one thing we found really interesting is that when we put out our first 360 content, for a lot of people, that was the first 360 stuff they had ever seen. So it's not necessarily super new technology either. It's just now getting integrated and people are seeing it. So a lot of times from a university having such a big audience, you kind of have the opportunity to be that first introduction to 360 video if it's something that you take on. So that's not something I really thought about because it's kind of been on my radar for a while, just being in that video world. But so a lot of people came up to us and were like, wow, like, that's really cool. You know, I've never even seen that before.
Yeah.
So it's definitely cool to kind of be on the cutting edge, at least in people's minds, of that technology.
Awesome. Yeah, and really probably helps the students with their, you know, that love for campus, right? My campus is really
and
cool.
it adds a certain value. I mean, it absolutely adds production value, you know, and it gives you some pride in your school to say, like, hey, you know, my university is doing this. You know, they're on the cutting edge doing 360 video, you know, and there's a lot of other bigger universities in our state, in our region, that we've never seen that kind of stuff from, that are much larger than us. So it's a cool opportunity.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So does it mount to anything then? Is there,
Right.
is there like
So
tripod threads on the bottom?
If you look on the bottom, so you've got your USB, HDMI, so you can output to a larger monitor, but it also has a threaded hole, which is the same size as a standard tripod mount, or what would be on the bottom of your DSLR. So you can mount it to a tripod, you could mount it to a glide cam if you wanted to. You could really mount it to anything from this.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. It seems super portable too, that you could just be, you know, if you happen to be at an event and like, hey, maybe I should grab some, you know, even some 360 photos,
Right.
a football game or something like that. Maybe you don't use it right away, but
Absolutely.
just to be able to whip that content out and
Right.
not have to drag something.
It's a great tool just to be able to throw in your pocket. And the battery life is great, and all you need to operate it is the camera in your phone, essentially. And you can actually operate it without your phone. If you just turn it on, there's a button right up here up front. So if you don't have your phone with you or your phone's dead, you can just power it on, set it to photo or video, and hit this button. And it'll automatically snap photo or video for you without ever having to connect to your phone. And so it's super useful. So, you know, we had a concert here last semester a while back, and so I've got all this other gear, all these cameras and stuff like that I'm bringing. But, you know, you still have the ability to just throw this in your pocket and pull it out and take a few shots while you're there, and it turns out super cool. So it's super useful and ezy to use.
So would you recommend then like holding it above your head? Is that how you do it? Just to kind of get, you know,
right, yeah. So
the
the issue, you know, with 360, again, being aware of what's on all sides of the cameras, if you're holding it like this, like you would hold your iPhone, your face is going to be a good 50% of that image.
Yeah, you're
So,
a big focal point at that point.
So yeah, the best thing to do is kind of hold it straight above your head, because what's interesting is everything kind of below it, directly below the camera, kind of disappears. It gets kind of all smushed together and you can't really see it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're holding it directly above your head, you kind of go invisible, but you still get a really great image. So that's the best way we found to do it when you're on the fly. Otherwise, we use a tripod or a light stand or something like that will thread directly into the bottom of it. And then we can just kind of run in, set it up somewhere, and step back, hide behind something, and, you know, use our phone to control it.
Tell it to start going. That is awesome. So compared to some of your other equipment, you were talking about you have a Sony mirrorless then, and then the Canon DSLR. It seems like this setup you can do for a lot less cost. And so for universities who maybe don't have that budget or resource, or they're trying to prove the concept maybe to their higher ups or to their division, it seems like this might be kind of a neat way of getting into a new space and playing with it.
Yeah,
right, absolutely. And like I said, the production value that it adds to your content is huge. I mean, like I said, there's not a lot of other people that are using 360 video, and so to be that kind of leader in your area that's like pushing that line, I think that adds a lot of value to it, and for a small cost. Like I said, these cameras go anywhere from $200 to $400, and this one in particular is $300. So, you know, that's far less than the cost of a DSLR that you guys already might have. So it's a very cool tool that adds a lot of definitely a big wow factor, but I think it's definitely worth the money.
And it brings you into a more modern sense without having to spend a lot of money to get the 4K feel.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I think sometimes too you see that with universities, that's, you know, that trying to get that glitzy, sexy, you know, cinematic sort of pro quality commercial for something that you're trying to do, maybe for YouTube or for prospective students, or to have at an event. And this seems to be something that you can get some great quality out of it but be able to use it in a ton of applications. I'm super excited to see a campus tour. Like that would be amazing to show off, you know, here's what daily life is like. Here is, you know, walk around our campus, check it out, see all these really cool things. Which would actually make a really great conference presentation too. I'd be interested to see what the hits and, you know, over time, what sort of students are looking at this. Are you seeing, you know, where are you seeing the hits coming from? Is it going to be your local consumer? Is it parents far away? Is it maybe prospective international students who are trying to get a feel for, do I belong at this school, right? That's the big question in admissions is, can the student see themselves on your campus? And so this, I would imagine, gives you guys a huge jump above, you know, other campuses. You're literally picturing yourself at Valdosta State. Like this is this is more than the view book and more than just watching, you know, a YouTube video. You are literally in the action. This is so cool.
Right, and that's one thing that we found in our analytics, at least with our audience, is that students especially, don't want to see the typical kind of posed photo of a student on campus, just kind of a no-name, generic student, because they don't want to picture that being them. They want to put themselves in that space themselves, so they can think about their own experience. So the 360 video really does that. I mean, it puts them directly in that space, and they can look in all directions and experience it for themselves. And so we found the content that doesn't necessarily, you know, it's not just a stock photo of a random student, that it gives them more of their own personal experience. That's the content that does way better for us, at least with our audience. So yeah, I would imagine that's pretty true across the board with people that age.
It really does. I mean, even from an accessibility standpoint, you may have students that don't have a desktop or a laptop at home, but they do have a mobile device. And so this is a great way for them to be able to access the content that you're putting out there and really feel like they're there, even if they don't necessarily have, you know, the latest and greatest technology at home. Maybe they're a, you know, first gen student, or, you know, come from one of those backgrounds. They more than likely might have, you know, a mobile device in their pocket. So this is super awesome for that. I am blown away from it, guys. This is amazing. I'm sure our viewers are ecstatic as well. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all the really cool things that you're doing there. Really jealous of what the cool things that are going on your campus. And for our viewers who are watching this, we will add links above to all of the options that we showed today, their recommendations, their YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, definitely, I would say, feel free to get in contact with Graham and Elizabeth. If we can maybe put your contact information back up. If you can geek out over this stuff with us and look at all the really cool things that Valdosta State is doing. Did you guys have one more video that you wanted to show?
We do. Yeah. We wanted to show you guys just that commencement video that we showed you. We wanted to give you the in-depth feel of what we were able to use the 360 for. So we'll try that out.
2016 graduates, family, and friends. Let the celebration begin.
So that's one of our videos. And again, if you want to experience the whole thing, you can go to our YouTube page because we have the whole thing online and you can look wherever it is you want to look and get the whole feel for it.
Right. So that was another pretty popular piece that we put out. Again, at the end of our commencement ceremony, they had a huge, fireworks show and stuff like that. And so for parents or any of your students that didn't get to go, it was a cool opportunity to show that off and they could feel like they were there and watch the whole thing. And so that one did pretty well. We posted that one straight to Facebook and got tons and tons of shares. It was awesome. People wanted to show their family the fireworks show, which was the first time we've ever done a graduation ceremony like that. So it was super cool.
So did you guys have them, did they actually walk across that stage, or was that like a separate piece of your commencement exercises?
Right, yeah, so this was at the very end. So that stage that you're seeing is the stage that everyone had just walked across and everything. So you come back to your seats, and as they're about to, let everyone go, they have the fireworks ceremony. So we went in, threw the 360 camera up and hit record, and that's what we got.
And if you go and watch the video, if you look to the right and the left, those are the real graduates who really did just graduate right there on the field.
That is awesome. That's so crazy. I'm super looking forward to it. We'll put the link to that video as well here, so that way you can go online, jump on your mobile device, pull up the video, and check it out. And so you can actually see the 360 and how it works. But I wanted to say thank you again to Graham and Elizabeth. This has been amazing, and can't thank you enough for sharing all of your expertise and allowing to see all the cool things that you guys are doing at Valdosta State.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks to our viewers who are tuning in from the Higher Ed Social Group. If you have any questions, do leave them in the comments. We will be checking them afterwards. If you're watching the replay, you'll have all of the links and everything else. And until next time, we'll see you later. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great afternoon. Bye.